Hi guys, this is Annie Noodle, and this is my fantastic zit. Why don't you come with me on an art journey as we paint this picture of my kitties for the Trekell Pet Portrait Competition. I'm actually going to enter this year. I'm not going to just buy the panel. It's done. I just have to scan it. I can manage that. It's like a week still, at least. Okay, my hair's in my face. Happy to see you guys. Check out my art. So it's been a while since this has happened, but it is after 9 o'clock at night, and the cats are circling me like hungry sharks already. But I'm going to try to get this done so I can get it uploaded in the morning. So my basic plan of attack was, as you can kind of see, I seriously just traced the panel onto a piece of paper from my sketchbook, and then I sketched out the design I want, which is actually like a design that I wanted to do last year, and I never got to it. And so I, paying attention to which part of the panel was up, taped the sketch to the front of the panel, and then to keep it from moving, I only put it on one side, and then I used carbon paper and slid it in between the sketch paper and the panel with the shiny side down. And by the way, guys, I'm really sorry, but I don't have that recorded because I was using both of my cameras, and I need a new laptop if I am going to try to use both cameras. My laptop is just fighting me super hard when I try to edit on it. So this is actually edited on my phone, and it's all recorded on my phone again. So, yeah. Right around this part is when I realized that I maybe should have primed this panel. It actually turns out just fine, so now I'm like, maybe I don't need to prime panels. Maybe that's a thing I don't need to do. Maybe it uses less paint if you prime, but I liked painting on just the wooden surface, so it was nice, yeah. So yeah, I used carbon paper to get the image traced over. I'm sure you guys all know how to use carbon paper, but I still feel bad for I recorded the process just so that I could be like, here's how to do it, just in case you've never seen it, because, there was the first time that I saw somebody use carbon paper, and I was like, oh, that's so helpful, and I'm like, man, I want to be helpful, but instead I'm just a mess. So, I did not prime this, and now I am laying down base coats of everything. And yes, you did just see me wiggle my paintbrush like a weirdo. I do that so much when I'm trying to think. I just hover over my painting and wiggle my paintbrush at it. It just helps me think about what I'm trying to do. And I do go over everything multiple times. You can see how patchy everything looks right now because I keep changing the color that I want to use, and as I have complained about before, and I will complain about again, I never, ever, ever mix enough paint. And then I run out, and then I have to mix more paint, and it doesn't match the new paint, and I'm like, or the old paint, and I'm like, no! I just try to cover everything, and then I realize I didn't mix enough paint to cover everything, and yeah, that's my life as, a person who embraces their inner chaos, I guess. I just go with it. I do eventually get to a point where it all looks okay, I think. So, and this is Tiny that I'm painting right now. Tiny has shown up in a couple of my videos, and she's a calico, but the reference picture that I'm using is adorable for one thing, and it is a picture of two of my cats. That is, I call her Kitten. Her actual name is Tilly. So it was the two of them investigating some lilacs that my friend gave me. So they were really interested in them, and they were smelling them, and it was so adorable. But they are next to my living room window, and so they are both kind of not completely backlit, but definitely lit very interestingly. I love this shot of all the little paint blobs on my plate that I'm using as a palette. I think it's so pretty. I think this is day 2 of me working on this because I cleaned the plate in between. That's why it looks nice again. And so here you see me going over the background again. And I mixed that green with a little bit of burnt sienna just to kind of tone it down a little bit. It was a little bit too vibrant, so I mixed it with a little bit of burnt sienna so that it would fade into the background. And now I am painting the lilacs, and you can see that that color does not match at all. It's fine. It all works out in the end. See, look at that. It's totally fine. Everything's fine. Eventually, all these sky blobs are going to be the same color. I will tell you, though, that I don't usually paint with acrylics. I have almost no experience with acrylics, and I have no idea if I was using them right. And I'm a big proponent of grab your art supplies and make art, even if you do it wrong, quote unquote wrong. But that doesn't mean I don't want to learn how to actually use them so that I can make those choices intentionally instead of accidentally. Yeah, so like you'll see me like do washes and stuff with these acrylics. These are Turner acrylic gouache. And I really love them, by the way. I have really enjoyed using them. And I just I just don't know that it's okay from an archival perspective to make washes out of acrylic paint. I would assume it is. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but I mean, like, I'm a watercolorist by, practice currently. So, like, I was like, well, I want these all to be slightly lighter or darker, and so I just made washes and glazes or whatever, and I don't know that you're supposed to do that with acrylic paint, but it seemed to work out for me in this case. So yeah, I put a couple little twiggy things in there, and those are going to be mostly covered over. I'm definitely trying to work sort of from the background up. It's really nice to work with paints that are opaque that I can cover other layers with. It's a really interesting experience. I have been doing my daily gouache challenge still, and I don't count these acrylic gouache paintings as part of that. To me, that's like a totally different thing. But I do think it helped get me ready to do this painting, just to like get my mindset to a place where I'm like, okay, it's okay to paint, you know, to make mistakes and kind of paint over layers because you're painting with opaque colors. I can cover things. And even more so with these because they're acrylics, so once it dries, it's there, it's set. So it's been nice. So right about here is one of the first places I started doing a wash. Like that's, yeah, right here. I'm just kind of doing a light wash over to try to make it look darker, but also kind of shaded, like it's got light spots and dark spots. Yeah, but not necessarily with really harsh lines that denote the shadow spots yet. And now I am working on Tiny's adorable ear. And it just looks like garbage right now, and I think it's super funny. Like, I really enjoyed watching this. Oh, and by the way, I did do, um, like I said, I am not really great with acrylic yet, and having my camera on me, I could tell was stressing me out. And so, I took a break from the camera, and I grabbed my painting supplies, and I went and I sat on my living room couch with my cats and painted for a while. So, it's okay to do that kind of stuff, even though you're trying to record a video to share with people. Like, sometimes you just gotta take a break. I loved painting these cats' eyes. I think, especially her eyes turned out really well. I'm really, really happy with how both of their eyes turned out, but especially Tilly's eyes. They just look so, I don't know, lit. Like, they just look glowy and happy and like a kitty eye should. I also got a lot of satisfaction from going over and I love painting whiskers. You guys know that. Like every time I paint whiskers, I'm like, look at this real time painting whiskers. I'm like such a nerd about it. It just makes me so happy. Anyways, so and I really liked painting all the white highlights in. Um and I was actually trying to be careful. I think you'll be able to tell, especially when we get to the finished piece, that like I kept the details where I wanted the focus to be in this painting. Um, there's a lot of details on the cat's faces and a little bit of extra details on the lilac blossoms that are closest to their faces. And then even their fur farther from their faces is just kind of blobby. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this part of me mixing blue paint, I was trying to figure out how to paint the shadows on Tiny, and it took me forever to get a color that I liked for the shadows. Oh, it just took me forever. And so I left this whole painful process in here for you guys to understand. Like, no, it's okay to struggle. I think that's like one of the big themes of my channel is it's okay to struggle. Just keep trying till you figure out something that you like. And so for me, it was mixing up a light blue and then again adding a little bit of, I think, burnt sienna. It was one of the earthy browns that I had to try to get a kind of grayish blue, slightly warm purpley color that didn't blend in too much with the background, but also didn't seem to clash with the colorway. Yeah, it took forever to find a color that I liked. But I think I eventually got there, and I really liked it, and I did not mix enough of it up again, of course. And so like I ended up having to kind of fumble through it again anyways. But I got there, and that's the important thing. Oh, here's some McFly being warm on the floor of my studio. Look at how cute he is. Look at his belly. Yeah. He just wanted so much attention today, and I don't know why. It was just like extra. So yeah, you can see that I finally got to a place where I liked it, and it actually looks like a shadow now instead of like I dumped weird purple paint on my cat. Yeah. So that's exciting. And then I put a few those little like kind of yellowy splotches on her chest because she's, like most cats that have white spots, like they have like a kind of tinge to them that are like a different color. So that's why those are there. And then I started putting in all these other awkward colors on her face that don't look right at all. And I was like, it's okay, I'll get there. I'll fix it. Working with a different media like frequently, like I've been flipping through a bunch of different types of paint lately, and it is really helping me to foster that attitude in myself of just trust the process, just keep going. You're gonna do just fine. Everything's gonna work out. You just got to keep working through the things that look ugly, and you can get to a spot where things look awesome again. And yeah, it's hard to think like that sometimes when things are looking really bad, but but working through a bunch of different media is definitely helping me with that. You might also notice that once again, I have managed to edit my video down to like significantly under 30 minutes. Like, I am so amazed. So here I'm going through Tiny's fur that I don't want to be overly detailed, but that doesn't mean that I don't want it to have some like kind of subtle color shifts. So I just put in some darker and lighter brown tones, and then I'm going through and floofing her white fur back into the brown fur because that's how it lays on her body in the picture. Yeah, and I think it looks pretty okay actually at this point. I did edit out where I globbed a giant pile of paint somewhere where it didn't need to be. I don't have to leave all of my mistakes in for you guys to mock. Like, you can just leave most of them in here. And my daily gouache challenge is going very well. I have been keeping it up every day, so that's good. I have had to do it twice in one day because I knew there was not going to be the chance to get to it the next day, you know. That's just the point isn't necessarily to be a horrible stickler for the rules. It's to just like make sure I'm not like just chucking my paint into like the closet and never touching them again. Oh, and Tiny, she has polydactyly, so she's got thumbs. That's why I'm painting that weird lump on her foot. And I, because I'm going to enter this in a pet portrait competition, I thought about editing it out so that it looked like a normal cat paw. And then I realized that at the end of the day, this painting is for me, of my cats. And I don't know if you can hear her, but she keeps meowing at me right now. But it's of my cats, and my cat has weird thumbs, and yeah. It's, I'm not super concerned anyways, because I don't really think I'm gonna win anything. But, I mean, like, to me the important thing is that this is my cat, and I want her to look like my cat. I don't want her to look like somebody else's cat, or like some fake version of herself. She's just gonna have thumbs and look awkward. It's fine. By the way, when she runs, it is super funny. Like, she kind of flails her legs out to the side a little bit because I think otherwise she trips on her own feet because they're just ridiculous giant mittens. So here I am going in, trying to get her eye set like it should be. And her eye wanted to fight me a little bit more than Kitten's eye, which is, that's okay. But like I said, they both came out really well in the end. So here I'm adding like another little bit of shading to the back of her head. Ooh, and look up, here's some more whiskers. Guys, I love painting whiskers. It was really stressful in this painting, though, trying to do it with acrylic paint. It is so much easier to do it with watercolor. Like, I have so much more control, and I understand watercolors so much better. Actually, I understand regular gouache better. Oh, and here's when McFly decided he needed attention again, and... and that's the other camera that you can see him bumping into. It was recording. I could not get my laptop to, cooperate, because it didn't want to. We are so close to done. Lilacs are one of my favorite flowers, by the way. Like, I love lilacs so much, and they smell so amazing, and I love walking outside in the springtime, and it smells like lilacs. It makes me happy, and I love seeing them. They remind me of my childhood. I'm sure that is part of it. Like, my grandparents had a lot of lilacs on their farm, and they lived right next to me and my mom, so I would just get to go over there all the time and smell lilacs and, yeah, and play around in the lilac trees, so, or bushes, if you'd prefer to call them lilac bushes. Here I am just adding in little ear fluffs and little bits of highlight on Tiny. And so hopefully you really can tell that, like, I tried to keep the details focused right around their faces because that's where we want to be looking when we're looking at this. I also designed this to have, like, a diagonal flow from the top left to the bottom right for the background and the lilacs, and then the direction that the cats are looking. I actually think about these things, and it really surprises me because I never seem that, like, mentally organized to myself until I'm trying to explain to other people, like, oh no, I really considered all of these things when I was doing the sketch for this portrait. All right, and I think we are at the last step here. I'm just going over the leaves, which is really just like I just did a leaf color and then a little tiny bit of obvious shadow and then a little tiny bit of obvious highlight. Like I just wanted to keep them really simple but still have them read as leaves. But I definitely did not want them like attracting attention in the background. Oh, so I announced a giveaway in my last video, and I think most people would probably let the giveaway run longer than a week, but I'm not gonna. My channel's really small, and I only had one person ask for the paints, and I'm giving them to you, and so I will message you hopefully today, and we can get your address stuff sorted out so that I can get those sent to you, and you can play with them. I think you're going to have a lot of fun. That's exciting to me. And so here I am signing it. Finally. I do not let myself touch paintings after I've signed them. That's why it's important to me to sign them. They're officially done at that point. So here are two of my kitties. I do have an oil paint of my third cat, and I was going to show you just to like have them all in the same video, but I can't find it. I don't know where I put it. Yeah, so let me know in the comments what you think of this portrait of my kitties. And wish me luck with the pet portrait contest. I am kind of excited to enter. I think it's going to be fun. And then I thought I would show you my palette. It's a hot mess. It needs some TLC. Bye, guys.